What's up? It's Jada Babe. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm gonna show you how to make this super cute turtleneck with yoke details. And you know I got you covered extra small to 3XL. Now, it's been about time. Y'all been asking. I have a written pattern for this turtleneck. So go ahead, go cop the pattern into the code below and then come back and follow along. Okay? So it's only right we get in the video. Y'all play way too much. Y'all play too much. Y'all crazy. So let's go ahead and grab our weight for yarn. I'll link below the yarn that I use. The size 4 and 5 millimeter hook, along with some scissors and a tapestry needle. Okay, so let's get started. I have my 4 millimeter hook and weight for yarn. Check the description below for all of the details. So I am making a size extra small. I listed everything on the screen. I will be chaining a total of 92. So go ahead and make your chain for your size. Okay, so boom. Once you have your chain for your size, go ahead and slip stitch in the very first chain. Make sure it's not twisted. So just slip stitch to form that ring and chain up 2. Now you're going to go into that first chain with your first double crochet, making sure you don't miss that. Go into that same chain that we slip stitch in, slip stitch in, and double crochet the amount for your size. I'm doing the extra small, so I'll be doing 12 double crochets, making sure I go into that same chain that we slip stitch in. So I have my total of 12 double crochets, and for all sizes we're going to do a shell stitch. So we're going to skip 1 and then place 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in that next stitch. So now that we have our 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets, skip the next stitch, and I'm doing the extra small, so I'll be placing 16 double crochets in the next 16 chains. So just follow for your size. Okay, so I have my 16 double crochets, and we're going to do another corner. That's skipping 1 and the shell stitch. 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. After that, skip 1, and I'm doing the extra small, so I'll be doing 24 double crochets, and go ahead, follow for your size. Now I have my 24 double crochets, and then we're going to do another shell stitch. So you just skip 1, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. So after that, you just skip 1, and I'm doing the extra small, so that's 16 double crochets, and follow along for your size. Now that I have my 16 double crochets, I'm going to do one more corner. And you already know, you skip 1, shell stitch, which is 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Okay, so I finished that shell stitch, and now I'm going to skip 1 and place 1 double crochet in the remaining stitches, which for me is 12 double crochets. So I have my 12 double crochets, and now we're going to slip stitch in the first double crochet we did, not on top of that chain 2. The reason why is because a lot of times with top down, your seam end up slipping and blipping and tripping, but we want it to be straight, and you know I got you. So go ahead and slip stitch in that very first double crochet. Now we're going to chain up 2, turn your work, and this is how the first round look. Turning our work is what's going to keep our seam straight. One thing you want to make sure is that when you turn your work, to not go into that slip stitch. That's the slip stitch right there. Don't go in there because your whole count going to get messed up. So once you have that right amount for that first round of the yoke, each round after this is going to be a breeze. We're going to place 1 double crochet in each stitch to that last stitch. This is for all sizes. So I'm at that last stitch. Everybody at that last stitch, place 2 double crochets. This is the stitch before that chain 2 space. So you did your 2 double crochets, and now we're going to do a shell stitch. That's 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. Now you're going to skip that 3 double crochets from the previous shell stitch and go into the double crochet after that with 2 double crochets. So before and after every shell stitch, you'll place 2 double crochets. That's how we increase for our yoke. So boom, 2 double crochets. That's how it's looking. We looking cute. You looking cute too. I see you. Okay. Moving on. Go ahead and place 1 double crochet in each stitch, each double crochet, to that last stitch. So I'm at that last stitch before the chain 2 space, and I'm going to place my 2 double crochets, and you do that too. And now in that chain 2 space, you know the drill, another shell stitch, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. You're going to skip those 3 double crochets from the previous shell and do 2 double crochets in the next double crochet after that. So like I said, before and after 2 double crochets. And now I'm going to place 1 double crochet in each stitch down to that last stitch, where we'll place another 2 double crochets before the chain 2 space. So I'm at that last double crochet before the chain 2 space, and we're just going to do 2 double crochets right in there. After that, you know chain 2 space means shell stitch. 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. After that, you skip those 3 double crochets from the previous shell and place 2 double crochets right after that. Right in there. And now place 1 double crochet in each stitch to the last stitch, where we'll place another 2 double crochets. Why? Because before and after every chain 2 space, it is an increase. So we're at that last stitch and place 2 double crochets. In that chain 2 space, you know, shell stitch. You already know what to do. I saw you. 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. And now, right after that, you skip the 3 double crochets from the previous row and place 2 double crochets in that stitch and double crochet all the way down to the chain 2 space. So now I'm back to that chain 2, and for every round you slip stitch in that first double crochet we did for that round. That's the slip stitch right there, and you need to not go in there because we're turning rounds and it could easily be mistaken and all of that. So chain your 2, turn, you skip that slip stitch, yeah, right there. I saw you was about to go into it. Go into that first double crochet. So now we're going to place 1 double crochet in each stitch to that last stitch, where we do what? Increase, because before and after every corner we'll place 2 double crochets right in there. Now in that chain 2 space, shell stitch, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. After that, you skip the 3 double crochets from the previous row and do your 2 double crochets in that stitch. And double crochet back down to that last stitch where you'll place 2 double crochets. Now place 1 double crochet in each stitch to that last stitch before the chain 2 space where we will increase. So I'm at that stitch before the chain 2 space, and just place 2 double crochets right in there. Now chain 2 space, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets. After that, you skip the 3 double crochets from the shell and place 2 double crochets in the stitch after that. Now you place 1 double crochet in each stitch to the stitch before the chain 2 space. So now I'm at that stitch before the shell stitch, and I'm going to place 2 double crochets because we do that before and after every shell stitch. Place 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in that chain 2 space. After that, you skip your 3 double crochets from the previous row and place 2 double crochets in the stitch after that. It's very repetitive. Before and after you do your increase. Before and after the shell stitch, you do your increase. So I'm going to double crochet to that last stitch before the chain 2 space. So I'm at that space. That means 2 double crochets before I do my shell stitch, and 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochets in that chain 2 space. After that, you skip your 3 double crochets from the previous row and place 2 double crochets in the next stitch after that, because before and after we increase, and 1 double crochet in the remaining stitches. Make sure you go into that last stitch because it could be hiding because of the slip stitch. So right in there with your last double crochet. Now slip stitch in that first double crochet, not the chain 2. Slip stitch, chain up your 2, and that's when you'll turn your work. So this is how we are looking so far. It's very simple, very repetitive. You double crochet down to that last stitch, making sure you go into that first double crochet. You increase before and after every shell stitch with 2 double crochets in that last double crochet. You do your shell stitch, double crochet, increase, all the way down, increase, shell stitch, increase, double crochet down to that last stitch, your increase, shell stitch, increase, double crochet down to that last stitch, increase, shell stitch, increase, double crochet in the remaining stitches, slip stitch in that very first double crochet, chain 2 and turn. Now I have everything counted and every single stitch counted in the pattern, but this is a very simple way how to explain. Just increase before and after your shell stitch with 2 double crochets. Just finished my round 4, and I'm gonna go ahead and do 11 rounds total for my extra small. So go ahead and do the amount of rounds that you need for your size, and we'll be back. Well, I'll be back because it's just me, you know. And we work on the body. Oh, I'm back already. Hey. So now we're gonna divide the rounds, and this is really simple. This is for all sizes. Now we'll just place 1 double crochet in each stitch. No increase in that double crochet before the chain 2 space. No increase. So just place 1 double crochet in each stitch. So I have my double crochets, and now we're going to place 3 double crochets in that chain 2 space. Just 3. And now we're going to skip the shoulder part, and you simply fold over. So that's the back, front, shoulder, shoulder. Just want to show you one more time that that is the back. And now we're going into that chain 2 space on the other side with 3 double crochets. Right there. So we're going to skip those 3 double crochets from the previous shell and just place 1 double crochet in each double crochet stitch to that chain 2 space where we'll place 3 double crochets. So I just place 1 double crochet in each stitch, place 3 double crochets right in that chain 2 space. You're skipping that shoulder part, and you're going to place 3 double crochets in that chain 2 space. Skip the 3 double crochets from that previous row and 1 double crochet in each stitch till you get to that chain 2. So now I'm at that last double crochet. Want to make sure I go into that, slip stitch in that first double crochet, chain 2, turn, and this is how it looks after you divide your rounds. After this, we're just going to be working in rounds, no increase or decrease. That's optional if you want it for a certain kind of fit, but this is more for fitted fit. So now we're just going to work our rounds. So you could do this as long as you want, as short as you want. So for my extra small, I'm doing a total of 21 rounds for the body, and it's super customizable. You could follow the amount of rounds for your size on the screen. So I'm going to place 1 double crochet in each stitch. And now when we get to those 3 double crochets that we did for the dividing round, you'll just place 1 double crochet in each of those 3 double crochets, that group of 3, and just repeat the same steps. Go into each double crochet. And place 1 double crochet all the way around and repeat the same steps for the other armhole, placing just 1 double crochet in every single stitch to that chain 2 space. Slip stitch in that first double crochet, chain up 2, and turn every round. So I did a total of 21 rounds. Now switch to your 5mm hook so we can start our ribbon. So now for the ribbon, for every size, we're going to chain up 13 chains. After that, we'll single crochet in the second chain from the hook and back down to the body row for a total of 12 single crochets. Now we're going to slip stitch in the next 2 double crochets from the body row. So right there, 1 and 2. We're going to turn our work. Now we're going to skip those 2 slip stitches because they act as our turn-in chain, and we're going to place 12 single crochets in the back loop. So you want to keep track of your count so you don't miss a stitch or accidentally go into a slip stitch. So single crochet in the back loop all the way down. So now finish that, you're going to chain 1 and single crochet in the back loop, back down to the body row. So now I'm back at the body row, and we're going to repeat the same process, just doing 2 slip stitches in the next 2 double crochets. So 1 and 2. Turn our work and repeat the same exact process, skipping the 2 slip stitches and single crocheting in the back loops all the way down. Chain up 1, turn our work, and single crochet in the back loop. In that first single crochet, the chain do not count as a stitch. Back down to the body row. I'm back at the body row, and yes, we will slip stitch in the next 2 stitches. So 1, 2, and you just repeat those 2 steps. And I'll meet you back when I'm down to my last couple of stitches. So I am back already, and now I have 2 stitches left. So you slip stitch in the next 2 stitches. You turn your work, and you're going to line up your starting chain with that last row. So you're going to go under that starting chain and under the back loop of the last row with a single crochet, and repeat that step all the way down. Just going through that starting chain in the back loop from the last row. Right there, right under, and pull through. You could either do a single crochet, slip stitch, whatever works for you when it comes to the seaming of this. So after that, I just chain up 1, cut my yarn, and pull through. So this is how we are looking so far. Now we're going to move on to the sleeve portion, which is really simple. So we're going to switch back to our 4mm hook and attach our yarn between those 3 double crochets group that we did for the dividing round. So right in between those 2, and attach our yarn right there with our 4mm hook. Now chain up 2, And we're gonna place one double crochet right there in that side of that double crochet from that group of 3 that we did. And one double crochet in each double crochet all the way around back to that chain 2 that we started with, placing one double crochet on that side of that group of 3. So now I'm back around to the side of the group of 3 and just placing one double crochet right there. And we're going to slip stitch in the first double crochet like we've been doing. We're going to chain up 2 and turn. And we're just going to place one double crochet in each stitch all the way around. And we're going to just repeat this step. Slip stitching in the first double crochet, chaining up 2 and turning. Now you could do the sleeve however long you want. I chose to do a 3/4 sleeve. So I do a total of 21 rounds for my 3/4 sleeve. And this is how it looks. You could just follow the same amount of rounds that you did for the body. Now, you just go ahead and switch to your 5mm hook so we could do the same exact ribbon that we did at the bottom. Same exact technique, but this time we're chaining up a total of 8 chains. So this is the same technique. After you have your 8 chains, single crochet in the second chain from the hook. Back down to the sleeve row. So I'm back down to that last row from the sleeve, and like how we did before, slip stitch in the next 2 double crochets. So 1, 2. We're gonna turn our work and single crochet in the back loop of each stitch for a total of 7 single crochets in the back loop. After that, chain up 1, turn, and single crochet in the back loop back down to the sleeve row. Now you just slip stitch in the next 2 double crochets. And repeat those same steps for this process, the same exact way we did the bottom ribbon of the body arty. And now I'm down to 3 stitches instead of 2. So if this happened to you from customizing a sew, you just slip stitch into the next one. Instead of doing 2, just slip stitch into 1, turn, and single crochet in the back loop back up. Just finish that row. You're gonna go ahead and chain 1, single crochet back down, and slip stitch in those last 2 stitches. And now, exactly how we did before, line up the starting chain row in the back loop of your last row and single crochet or slip stitch together. Chain up 1 and cut your yarn. And go ahead and weave that in. So I finished that sleeve. Now go ahead and complete the same process right in the second armhole, the same exact process. So now I got my 2 sleeves done, and last but definitely not least, the start of the shoulder turtleneck, which is the same exact thing we did for the ribbon. Attaching our yarn at the back seam, right where we started, and switching to our 5mm hook if you didn't already. So go right into that chain 2 that we started with. Once you attach your yarn, go ahead and chain up 31 chains. Once you have your 31, you're going to single crochet in the second chain from the hook for a total of 30 single crochets. Now I'm back down at the neckline row, and you're just going to slip stitch in the next 2 double crochets exactly how we did before. One, 2. You're going to turn, skip those 2 slip stitches, and single crochet in the back loop for a total of 30 single crochets. Now at the end, you chain up 1 and go back down in a slip stitch in the first single crochet all the way back down to the neckline. The same exact way we did everything else. I'm back at the neckline, and one last time, you just slip stitch in the next 2 stitches. You're going to turn your work, skip those 2 slip stitches, and repeat the same steps that we did for the ribbing of the body and the sleeve. So now I'm down to my last 2 stitches. So we just slip stitch in those next 2. And we're going to line up our starting chain with our last row and single crochet or slip stitch right under that starting chain in the back loop of that last row, and do that all the way down. So now I'm at the end. You just chain up 1, cut your yarn, pull through, and there we go. We did it. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, notifications on so you know when I'm posting that heat, baby. And I'll see you in my next video. Hey, see, this is an old school Tootsie Roll right there. Hey, y'all play too much. Y'all play it. We gotta go. I'm hot. Got the turtleneck still on.